Hello there, Internet. If you just watched my live video, thanks. If you didn't watch it live, but you've watched it since then, thanks. We are going to, we're going to do something. We're going to take this guy, and we're going to fix him. So this is the Vortex by Fidgetrix. And I got the little card here. Fidgetrix. I believe it's called the Vortex. But I found that these were some pretty significant hotspots. The way I like to spin it hard. And it's not a problem when you spin it, but when you go to stop it, these are really a problem. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take my Dremel and try and see if we can bring that down a little bit. So I'm not sure the best way I'm going to try this. I've got some of these little foam pads that I actually just super glued some 600 and 800 grit sandpaper on, and I don't think I need to take this down much to get it soft. So what we're going to try and do is do just that. We're going to try with the 600, and we're doing it live for you here. Oops. And we'll see if it works. So this is a pretty nice Dremel. It's got the little speed attachment, so you don't need the wrench. You just have that there. It's the 4000. I was dumb. It has this really sweet attachment, and I hit it way too hard. It's like this little finger attachment, so I've had to hold the whole thing. But I broke it in like a day. It just was going too hard. It was going ham. Variable speed. Bring that down a little bit. I might be able to get away with it like this. So we're just sanding the edges down. Round it up a bit. It's also pretty high grit, so it's going to make it almost a little polished. Sorry, I wasn't really looking at the camera to make sure I had that in focus for you guys. Yeah, I think that might work. We're going to turn it up. I don't know if you can still hear me. Hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. It's got kind of a neat look too. So if that was too noisy, I might have muted that, so you might not have heard me say anything. What I might do is just play some music if this is going to be too loud. But what we're going to try and do is just do that a little bit more and see how it comes out, and then I'll probably just cut the video and do all the other corners and then come back and show you what it looks like. All right, so let's just see how this works. Yeah, I think that feels pretty good. I mean, I've obviously taken down quite a bit, but I kind of like the feel and the look of that. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to round it. So I'm trying to get it at a really steep angle, and come on, focus. Trying to get at a steep angle and then kind of bring it around like this. So as opposed to chamfering it, it's just rounded. So we're going to cut this here, and then I'm going to come back after I've done all the other corners. I'll put a bearing in it. We'll see how it feels. Definitely have your bearing out when you do something like that, because you're going to be getting little bits of brass dust everywhere. You can see this thing is all covered in brass from when I did my brass hammer by Dubel. Yeah, that feels really good. Maybe take a little bit more off this top corner right there, but I don't think it would be a hot spot. But just since we're rounding it out, let's round it out. So we'll come back when it's done. All right, see you in a sec. All right, everybody, we are back. And that worked out really well. I actually did take the stone Dremel bit, just to do it a little faster. Probably could have used one of these guys just to get it going a little faster. But that 600 definitely would have done it, and then I went back and finished everything with the 600. And it's funny, it just kind of almost starts taking on a very dapper kind of a look. Just with those curves and those cutouts, but it's smooth. It's good around all the edges. So what are we going to do now? I'm actually going to, meant to do this before. Let's take down the edges on these buttons. Focus. These buttons are just a little rough. It still leaves the knurling, but now they're kind of soft. It's coming along. Come on, focus, would you? Bring it further down, I guess. I wonder if we can take, not that I don't like this logo, but I actually want to do some Force Patina. I wonder if that logo will come off, how deep that logo is. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's like polished the logo too. That logo is pretty deep, so let's just see how that comes out then, maybe. Oh, look at that. Neato. You can't feel it at all, but you can still see it, so. Sorry y'all. Maybe we'll just cut this out. Let's just cut this out. We'll come back when it's done. All right, we are back again, and this worked so much better than I anticipated. I just had these washers sitting here, and I I wrapped the wire around them to hang this for some Force Patina, and they just sit right under the edge and like hold it. I've got it wrapped around that. So Force Patina is pretty straightforward, y'all. There's really not a whole lot to it. I've seen a couple different methods, but they're all more or less the same. We've got some ammonia here, just in a spray bottle. And we've got some salt that I ground up. Now, what I've seen is a lot of people where they'll take the salt and they'll mix it in with the ammonia. The last one I didn't do that. I really like how it came down, so I'm not going to mess with what works. We're gonna keep trying this and use this as maybe the Tim method. So, in the bottom, I don't know how necessary this is. But we've got some toilet paper, but some sort of like tissue or something to kind of hold the ammonia. Everybody seems to do. I don't know why you can't just have ammonia in there. And then we're going to sprinkle some salt on some of this stuff. We're going to spray it down. You're going to see this start to change pretty quick. I don't know if we got this on spray or where we got it. So we're going to spray it into the bottom. Ooh. Now this stuff is funky smelling, y'all. So wow, I just got a big whiff of that and almost choked. I don't have good enough ventilation in here. Whew. So we're just gonna spray it down, and then we're just gonna. Oh, I didn't. Too late, y'all. I just jumped right into this. I did not clean this well with my hands, which I wanted to. So we might get some interesting effects. I meant to clean this really good, but it's all covered. Let's just go with it and see how it works. And we'll use this as an experiment. So we're gonna put some salt in the buttons. We're gonna put some more salt, maybe not quite as dense on the buttons. And we're gonna get some salt on spinner. Now that it's wet, the salt will kind of stick. And yeah, that's how I do it. And then we'll give it a bit of a spray. And then maybe a little bit more where some of that stuff got knocked off. And then we're just gonna leave it. Normally you see this start to turn pretty quick. I wonder if this is actually, if these things are actually brass or there's something else weird, but no, I can see the drips? The drips have that color in it. So we know we're getting some stuff going. So now we just cover it up and we wait. So we'll come back and we'll see how it looks after, I don't know, 8 hours or so maybe. Okay. So we left this a little longer than I wanted to before I checked it. I was going to check it last night, but fell asleep. So let's open it up and see how it looks. Oh, and it broke off the wire. So that destroyed the wire that I used. I just heard it drop in there, so I'm not too worried. Oh, we didn't turn another light on. There we go. We got some nice blues in there. I'm going to put this on here. Oh, it really etched away more on the Spinatic logo. That's interesting. That's kind of cool. Let's wash this off right now. So we're going to take this over to the sink. All right, sound's probably going to be terrible in here. So I'm just gonna wash this off. I've heard using acetone is better. Water washes off more, but I'm not too worried about stuff coming off of this. So. It's actually that wire. You guys can't really see that at all. All right, let's go back. Okay, so I dried it off, and there we have it. Let me turn the light this way a little bit. So not too bad. It's got some interesting effects. I don't know if that's a little just extra salt or some weird stuff. So this is dry. This isn't glossed or anything like that. I don't know if it got some rust from that wire rusting in there, made some of that look. I actually think it's kind of cool. I think it would look gloss, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to maybe spin this for a day or two. See what wears off the corners and see if I can get kind of a cool combination look. Might even sand a little bit of these faces down to put a little polish showing through. We'll see. But yeah. Not too bad. I think it's kind of cool how it, especially on this one, like the way it etched the spinetic in. So sweet. I got really lucky too. I forgot. You might have noticed I didn't protect the threads, but this still fits in there okay. So I think we're all right. I think we'll be all right. All right. So we'll come back once I've used this for a little bit, see how it looks, and then see if I maybe Renaissance wax it or we gloss varnish it. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. Hello everybody. Clearly some time has passed since I filmed the beginning of this, but kind of want to wrap this up for you, so show you kind of where we're at. So confession time, I did use this a little bit like I said I would. Put a little wear on it. Just wasn't quite happy with the color and the finish, and you're like, Tim, slow down, stop spinning it so I can see what it looks like. How about we get a warp here? Where's my warp? Sorry about that. So what we did though was I put it back in and basically did all those same steps I did the first time, but just a second time. So it did end up going for about 48 hours in the hanging up there, and I switched it to a string so that the wire wouldn't break. But I'm pretty happy with it. I also put a layer of Renaissance wax on it. I didn't want to do that in the video because I wasn't quite sure of the results and if I was going to like that or not. So, but that stuff works pretty good. Maybe the next time I do some patina, I'll show you guys how to use that. But it's pretty much like any wax. If you've ever waxed a car or anything like that, you just you kind of put it on there liberally, not too heavy, especially not too heavy at first, I found. That way it doesn't wipe the stuff away. And then you can kind of buff it and get kind of this shine to it. I kind of like this effect that it has. You know, and it's got a good feel to it. It doesn't smell, the wax actually smells pretty stinky, but once it dries, it doesn't smell like ammonia. It doesn't really smell like anything. In fact, yeah, I'm not even really getting a brass smell on my fingers. So if you got brass spinners doing that Renaissance wax, might get rid of the smell and keep it from patinaing much more, kind of once you get it where you want it. So, pretty snazzy, pretty happy with how it came out. We got some good blues here and there. I think, you know, I definitely can play with this a little bit more and fine tune to try to get the patterns I want where I want as I do a little more. I kind of like this almost like burnt look in there with some of it, and the way it kind of kept some of the spinetic logo. So pretty happy overall with this. So these are kind of the final results. So if you do any Force Patina, definitely find me over on the Daily Fidget and let me know how it turned out, if this worked for you, if it didn't work as well. If it's not working for people, I'll, you know, throw an update out and let them know it doesn't work for them, but works for me. So pretty happy with this guy. So it's hard to get the warp just right with this. The sun's really rocking today, but we like to leave you with a warp, right? So there you go, y'all. That's Hobby Timmy's patina tutorial. Peace.